Good afternoon to all of you. Shall I start with this analysis? Okay, yes. Okay. So in this session we shall be talking about Bull Mock Cat 3, and we shall be looking at the verbal portion of this test. So if I look at this test from the level of difficulty, if I compare this test with the previous two tests, my view is that very similar to previous two tests as far as level of difficulty is concerned. Or let's say if I talk about the distribution of the questions, the pattern, we have kept everything same. So what are your feelings about this test? LOD. So how did you fare in this test? Press yes if you got more than 90%. Anurag, Rahul, Yajur, Nikhil, Mansi. How many of you got more than 90 percentile? In this verbal section only, 50 questions. Okay, 3 of you, but I don't know which 3 out of Anurag, Rahul, Yajur, Nikhil. Okay, if I look at the distribution of this questions from the level of difficulty point of view, there were 7 difficult questions, moderate or medium level of difficulty questions 25, and easy 2 were easy. So if I look at this point of view, if I take this into consideration that there were only 2 difficult questions, I can simply say that this test was moderate to difficult, or to be more precise, it was more inclined to be on a difficult side. Am I right in analyzing this situation? Yes, guys? Am I right? Okay, fine. Now coming on to the scoring strategy. If I look at easy question, there were 2 easy questions. So we should definitely would have got these 2 correct. From medium level of difficulty questions, these were 25. And if I look at this, if I think that minimum we should have 60% accuracy, 25 into 6, so it is 15 questions. We should get at least 15 questions correct out of these 25 difficult moderate level questions. And out of 7 questions, if I say my accuracy is only 40%, 7 4 28, or is 30%, 7 3 21, so I should get at least 2 questions correct. So all in all, 19 questions correct out of 34 questions. So if I get 19 correct, my score would be something about 54 or something marks. My temptation should be number of attempts. Let's say out of 34 questions, if I attempt 70% of the paper, let's say 24 questions, and out of 24 questions, if I get 19 correct, that means I got 5 wrong. So my score would be something around 54%, 54. So 54, around about 54, something like this. Because 19 into 3, 57, I have to deduct this negative marks also. So 54, and if I get 54 marks, my percentile would have been 98 percentile, because the person who got 37 marks in this particular mock cat 3, his score was 92 percentile in this section, verbal section we are talking about, including AR part. I'm just concentrating on the verbal part only. So that's how the strategy should be. So if the paper is difficult, it would be difficult for all of the students. Nothing to worry about that. Personally, you are getting difficult question, rest of the people are very happy or comfortable. Nothing sort like this. So let's say person who got 59 got 98 percentile, and 57 got 98.3. The topper in this particular test, the highest marks were 192, and in Chandigarh they were 160 something. So difference of 30 marks. 192 means how many questions correct? 3 questions, 3 marks per question. So 190 plus, so probably not 192, highest was not 192, I'm a little mistaken, I think. So they were approximately 140 or something. I mean to say that it is, if we plan accordingly, if we look at this from strategy point of view, it is easy for us to get 90 plus percentile at least by proper planning and picking the questions as per our strength and weaknesses. Since I cannot comment on your accuracy because I don't know whether you completed the syllabus, the entire syllabus, you have covered all the topics or not. But whatever topics you have covered, if I look at this from RC's point of view, RC covers your 16 questions out of 34 questions, approximately 50%, and CR7, critical reasoning based, summary and inference based, and then we have got para jumbles, 3 misfit, 3 to 4 misfit, and 3 to 4 your rearrangement of the sentences, and rest grammar based questions. So all in all, 16 plus 3, at least 3 from sentence element, 19. If I took at reasoning, if I look at the critical reasoning portion, so probably we could have picked up 3 more questions. 16 plus 3, 19 plus 3, 22, and 1 or 2 grammar questions. So 24 attempts. 24 attempts all in all. They were possible with this particular style and the level of difficulty of the paper. So now moving on to a few questions I have picked up just to discuss with you that how to score. I'll tell you again, in all my analysis I tell that if you want to crack CAT, so the CAT has become now reading oriented or reading based paper, understanding based paper, rather than very technical. Earlier it used to be. Now it has become more or less reading oriented paper. If you're comfortable with reading, if your level of comfort is fine with this part, reading part, then probably it's easier for us to score well in this CAT or CAT level exam, especially we're talking about the CAT only right now. So let's see what we have. I picked a few questions, 15-16 odd questions just to discuss with you. So shall I move on to next slide? Yes guys, just press yes. You can type in chat box also. Anurag, Piyush. Okay, so let's move on to next slide. What we have now, look at this question on your screen, which is sentence rearrangement para jumbling based question, and we all are aware of tricks that we need to find an opener, the conclusion, mandatory pairs, linking by themes, etc. So if you are aware of all the tricks, students, test takers mark this question as difficult. Difficult means only a few were able to pick up these questions, or let's say maximum number of students got this question wrong. Out of student or the test takers picked up this question, maximum of the students or test takers got this question wrong. So that's how we tag the question as difficult. I don't know why the student consider this as difficult, but one of the possible reasons could be to trace the opener. Can we trace the opener in this sentence? Which sentence would be an opener as far as this is concerned? Read, take your time. We have got 1 to 1.5 minutes. Read all the sentences again. So did you get this question correct? Out of you people who are attending this session, Piyush, Anurag, Rahul, Yajur, Nikhil, Mansi. So did you get this question correct? No, 2, and yes, 3. Okay, so now why we are confused in selecting the option, the opener part, because generally we think that opener, yes, it has to be independent and it should introduce a theme of the discussion. So the technique is read all the sentences very carefully. If you haven't done this topic in your regular classes, or if you don't know about the tricks related to this particular section, so make sure that you read all the questions. Try to figure out what story is and what has been highlighted. So we are talking about some sort of feeling, and what this feeling is, and this has been highlighted in rest of the sentences. So it is primarily about feelings or feeling related to money. It is not about men who feel something like this. This is something about feeling and what they feel about it. It's not about men who feel. What they feel is more important. So I think we all are confused in between the choice. Let's say I think we feel that A is an opener or E. How many of you think that A is an opener? Just press yes. Just press write yes if you think that A is an opener. Mansi, you thought A to be an opener? Okay, so A says these are the men who have always viewed money as solvent. Viewed, the keyword here is viewed. Viewed means if I read all the sentences, that means they have a certain particular angle to look at this particular commodity, that is money. So we are talking about the feelings related to this particular group, or this group of people, or the men. So I think E should come before A. Mansi, am I clear that why E should be before? Because let's say if I take A before E, because we are describing the feeling, what they feel about this. So now we are confused in picking E as an opener because of the word however. We think that however just been put here just to confuse you. Just remove however for a while and read this. And recession has nothing to do with this feeling. What kind of feeling we are talking about? It has been described in A. Now Mansi, am I clear? Nikhil, am I clear? Do with this feeling, what is this feeling? Okay, so feeling we have described in A, therefore EA. Now unfortunately we had only one choice, EA, that is first. But again, if I pick up let's say option, since A cannot be an opener, so third gone, fourth gone, so left with C. But you will find that it's difficult to create connection between D and E. D and E are not at all connected, so could have rejected even second also. Now what E says, recession has nothing to do with this kind of this feeling. And what is this feeling? These are the men who always viewed money as solvent. Now solvent, what is this feeling? They consider this money as solvent. Solvent means not at all important in this particular respect. So, and it has been further described in D. For them, what exactly they think about money, for them it is something that dilutes the essence of social transaction. What they think that solvent means in which anything can be dissolved or soluble. So what they dilute, what they dissolve, the essence of social transaction. Therefore EAD makes connection. And after that, C, the current market economy where every relationship, now it's been further explained that why do they think like this. So the current market economy where every relationship involves monetary barter makes them uncomfortable. So that why now the social transaction or the social relationships have been diluted here. And if they think that if money is taken into account every time, so this will dilute, and this particular feeling makes them uncomfortable. So the answer is clear, EADCB. So, and what they think that their need to replace this currency with love. What exactly they want? Their need to replace. This is exactly they wanted to come to this point, that what they feel about. Now recession has nothing to do with this feeling, because E is well connected with B in this sense. Finally, what is the feeling they feel about this money is in B. So B will finally conclude the passage. Story part. Am I clear? All of you? Anurag, Rahul, Yajur, Nikhil, Mansi. Shall I move on to next question? Again, the question is based on sentence completion. 52nd question I picked up. Again, this has been marked difficult by the test takers. Means only few of them picked up this question and most of them got this wrong. Out of few of them who picked up this question. So a little technical, little lengthy question also. So just rush through this and we'll try to figure out its answer. Deliberately in these two questions, 51 and 52nd, we went against the conventional notion or the perception about the opener. Generally, we think that opener should never start with but, however, etc. But it can, depending upon the story part. So if I look at all the sentences, A says short of that. I think there should be something before short of that. While the government should have. While means it's a continuation of something. So before B, there should be something. C says they would not. They would not. They should refer to something. D. Now D seems to be very close when it comes to an opener. A strike an individual firm wouldn't disrupt. Fortunately, there is no choice starting with option D. So we are left with only one option, that is E. Am I clear about the trick related to opener? Press yes. How to track this in this particular example. Nikhil, is my voice audible? My voice reaching you? Okay. So, but if the public sector undertaking were generally autonomous, means independent, as many of them notionally are, means on papers they are, but actually they are not. Salary determination would be an affair between individual management and their employees. So it says if public sector, forget but for a while, because but maybe the continuation of some previous line. Whenever we pick up the question somewhere in between the paragraph, we'll get these kind of openers starting with but, however, etc. So don't worry about this. Try to get the essence of the question rather than looking at these keywords only. So it's very important, because before teaching tricks in my classes also, I tell my students that you have to read all the sentences very carefully. Step number 1. Step number 2, try to get the rough idea of what story is going on, because as per the story, the essence to capture it's very important for us to capture the essence. Without capturing the story, we cannot rearrange. So it says if public sector undertaking are genuinely interested in freedom, so salary determination should be an affair between individual management and their employees. It should not go to any other department. But it says they notionally are. On papers it is fine. Ideatic, on the basis of ideas, notion, it is fine. For the sake of an idea, this is fine, but otherwise it is not. So after E, now we have got only two options starting with E, either first or fourth, but in both the choices we have got EC pair. So it has to be EC. Read C also, then they wouldn't need to pass through. What wouldn't need to pass through? Salary determination. So they refers to this noun salary determinations. They wouldn't need to pass through government or a centralized committee. So well connected. E and C well connected. After EC we have got in first option B, and in fourth option we have got D. You need to just rush through that why D, or whether D would be correct or B, as we know the answers now. Just read B. B says while the government should have broad oversight on energy sector, it should be get out of the areas such as determining fuel prices or salaries of oil sector employees. But here we have introduced the idea of oil sector, energy sector, etc. Let's read D also. A strike in an individual firm wouldn't disrupt the entire energy sector as happened in this case. So now we have introduced energy sector in sentence D, not in sentence B. So because energy sector is an example taken by the author here. So while is in continuation with this D sentence. So ECD, after C D will come, because we are explaining this point of view of autonomy or this interference with the help of this example in D. So after D, B, and A will finally short of that, and this is how we can conclude the story. So the best answer option is fourth out of 1 and 4. Am I clear, guys? So it is important. Let's say if you are confused also, take your time, because CAT is not about time, CAT is about accuracy. So make sure that you read and understand the essence of the story rather than just picking up, linking the keywords only. This is one of the tricks, but all tricks are useless if I'm not able to understand the very essence of the question. Am I clear, guys? Anurag, Rahul, Yajur, Nikhil, Mansi. Okay. So you're not typing, I just see yes to the side of very small box to the side of your name. You're not typing in text chat or something. Okay, Mansi, am I clear about this? Okay, fine. Saving spaces. Okay, so let's move on to next question. What we have. So again, grammar based question. I picked up question number 60 here, and you people mark this question as medium. A little tricky, but let's say, because generally I think that students come to this section after attempting maths or DI. That's why they feel a little exhausted and they're not able to concentrate. They are not able to recall few grammar things, rules, and particular usages. So how many of you got this correct? 60th question. 4 of you got this correct. Great. All of you got this question correct. Okay. So because with the help of E sentence, but E is not going to help us. No doubt E is easy to track, but E is not going to help us because it is present in every option. E says the sand painting right. It should not be right. It is not your right. It is one of the rituals. Again, in place of right, it has to be right. and their ailment, so it has to be his or her. So we have got E in every option, so we need one more sentence to pick up this answer. So in one of the option A is there, in D second D is there, fourth B is there, and fourth also, third also B. What B says, let's read B, because we have got B sentence in two options. As outsider views, the concern, I'm reading first again, the concerns I have are deepened as I begin to compare how we as outsider views. So we with we, which is a plural pronoun, we cannot use views, so it has to be view. So in second sentence B, in place of views it should be view, because it's a subject verb agreement, subject is plural, verb has to be plural. Therefore B and E, third option. But it's fine that you all got this question correct. So time has come to move ahead. Now again, this misfit 63rd question I picked up. So did you get this question correct? 63rd. How many have got this question correct? 63rd. So do you analyze your performance also? Make sure that you should not involve yourself every time with difficult questions only. It's better if you concentrate on easy as well as easy and moderate question, and leave aside difficult question. But at the time of giving exam, it is very difficult for us to gauge the question as moderate or difficult. Okay, Anurag, in 60, what you are asking about 60? Yeah, 60, the option. Not correct. We were supposed to pick up the not correct option. So Anurag, I'm not getting, there should be punctuation mark in A. The concerns I have are deepened. Okay, you mean to say that the comma should be between concern and after concerns, what the concerns are deepened, you are saying this? Yes, you should be there, but point is that if you are able to gauge the subject, sometimes even comma is also understood, so therefore no major issues as far as this is concerned. But yes, while writing something, if comma is there, it would make the readers clear about the message to be conveyed. But even without questions, we would have solved this question. Am I clear about Anurag? Okay, so let's move ahead. So just rush through this particular question. I'll tell you that even while handling RCs, if you've attended my previous sessions also, I told you that even without reading the entire passage, how the questions can be solved. Whatever questions I pick for the discussion, my point is just to tell you how to attempt in an easier way. So now we are doing question number 63. A little difficult, I would say. Moderate, you mark this question as moderate, but I would say a little tricky also at the same time. Let's say what the sentences are saying. Second says, what is the normal application of the term? Means one term has been talked about. As long. Third says, as long, meaning of the word is in doubt, means we are talking about, we are in doubt whether the term conveys this or that. The very subject of dispute is in doubt. Again, we are talking about doubt. When we may then properly call man a free. I think he's trying to answer this question, when we call ourselves free. So fourth says, when we approach that venerable dispute touching the freedom of will, that is again freedom of will we're talking about, which has inspired men to such endless discussion, etc., etc. So very first thing to do, discover that what we have a right to mean and what when we call man free. So means in these three questions, the term is freedom or free. So in the second, third and fourth, what is the answer? In chat box you can type, but now we know the answer, so it will be easier for us to. Yes guys, so in these three, second, third and fourth, the freedom or the term or the question, whether in what particular situation we can call ourselves free, or what is the meaning of this, implied meaning of this term, etc., etc. But in first sentence, very first sentence, he's saying that there is no ground for difference of opinion so far. So the three can be linked with the help of theme based linking, 2, 3 and 4. The order should be 4, 3 and 2 actually, if I want to rearrange these sentences, and 1 is left out. Therefore first is the answer in this case. Am I clear guys? Yajur, you got this correct. Absolutely fine. So, all of you, so that's how I just pick up few questions from grammar, few questions from sentence arrangement, etc., etc., just to discuss the tricks and the tips from my side. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, it's a little dicey paragraph in terms of understanding. Everyone distinguishes between things perceived and things only imagined. It is about the way we perceive the things and we imagine the things we see and what we imagine. So look at the technique we employ just to confuse you, just to kill your time. In the very first paragraph, just look at the test paper setters psychology question setters. So everyone distinguishes between things perceived and things only imagined. With open eyes, I see death before me. With eyes closed, I can imagine it. If I lay my hand on it and feel it, I can, without laying my hand on it, imagine it, that I feel it. So in the very first paragraph, it is saying that there is hardly any difference. With the first few lines, if I read, there is hardly any difference, the things we perceive and things we imagine. But in the last line of this paragraph, we've been asked this question: what is the difference between sense and imagination? In first few lines, we wanted to make you believe that there is no difference, hardly there is any difference. But suddenly we've been asked this question: what is the difference between sense and imagination? So it says that it must be difference between which we all are somehow conscious, distinguish between things we perceive and things we merely imagine. Now in the second paragraph, first line says, it is well to remember at the beginning, outset means beginning, that these two classes of experience, means the sensing the things, imagining things, are not wholly different. Getting my point? In the second paragraph, the essence revolves around that these two are not wholly different. The blue color which I imagine seems to be blue, which I saw, sense, which was also blue, means sense and imagination kind of overlapping. Now third paragraph, in second paragraph itself, these two experiences are nevertheless not the same. In the second paragraph, first line says they are not wholly different, and suddenly we change the logic. Two experiences are nevertheless not the same. Everyone knows that they are not the same. One difference, now the difference has come into the picture. One difference is that roughly marks out two classes of experience from one another is our sense experiences are more vivid. Look at this line very carefully. Are more vivid means different, variety and colorful, etc. Then the images. Look at this line very carefully, that our sense experience are more vivid than the images that exist in our imagination. Means is giving more numbers to marks to weightage to sense experiences. And in the third paragraph, first line, I say as a rule, we cannot always remark this difference. Means there is difference, but we shall not be able to. Sensation may be very clear, but they may also be very faint and definite. Again, contradicting views. So fourth paragraph, on the other hand, things merely imagined may be sometimes more vivid and insistent. Now in the third paragraph, he laid emphasis on sense experiences. Now in the third paragraph, in fourth paragraph, is saying that imagination to be more vivid and insistent. Getting my point? So whenever we read these kind of paragraphs, we are confused after we are done with the reading part. We are not able to make out what exactly was his main point. That's how we confuse you. So it's very important whenever you're dealing with these psychology related paragraphs, you have to read every line very carefully. Please use scrap paper which we give you at the time of exam. Just keep on writing the main points, bullet points related to each paragraph while doing reading comprehension. Am I clear? Yes guys? So it's very important. So fourth paragraph is giving more emphasis on imagination. And in the last few lines, in somewhere in between, finally we know that images may become so vivid and insistent to be mistaken for external thing, that is to say hallucination. If imagination is very strong about any particular thing, sometimes the things would seem to be real that particular thing would seem to be real, and we think, and these in psychology this is called hallucination, when thing is not really existing but we feel it's so, because we imagine that particular thing so strongly. Am I clear about this? So criteria for vividness therefore not always serve to distinguish. Means earlier he picked up vividness, now his last few lines is saying vividness should not be the only criteria to distinguish between sense and imagination. So, and indeed last few lines, and indeed it becomes evident upon reflection that we do not actually make this as our ultimate test. We may be quite willing to admit faint sensation may come out of confused, which we call ideas, but we always regard such confusion as somebody's error. We are not ready to admit things perceived faintly are things imagined, or vivid ideas are things perceived by sense. Means at the end of the day, at the end of the paragraph of the story, an author hasn't given any clear distinction between things imagined and things perceived. So he started with something that these two are different or they are not different. What should be the criteria? He picked up vividness as one of the criteria to pick up the to sort out the difference, to mark this as one of the differences. But in the last he said that whatever you say, this is not easy for us to distinguish between these two as. Am I clear about the structure of the paragraph? The way we try to confuse you with our logics? Am I clear about this? So that's a technique played by us, paper setters, to confuse you. Now we just want to check you whether the reader is careful or not, whether he's able to pick up the ideas along the lines, or does he worried about only start or the end of the paragraph. So it's very important that to read the entire paragraph very carefully. So if you have understood the structure, the flow of thoughts, etc. So shall I move on to a few questions? Pranav, Yajur, Anurag, Mansi, yes? Okay, I picked up one or two questions from this. My motive of picking this paragraph was just to make you understand the twists and the turns we take into account while framing RCs, while setting RCs for you. So let's look at few questions. Now it says 69th question of this passage. Read the following statements. So we have been asked which out of the above agree with the information as provided in the passage. It says that higher the vividness in one imagination, higher are the levels of hallucination. It is technically wrong. It says that if you think that if you imagine anything very strongly, then if it crosses certain line or limit, then it can be termed as hallucination. Vividness cannot be termed as hallucination. So technically wrong, factually wrong as per the passage. Third statement, in journal our sensory experiences are more animated. There is no point, there is no mention of the word animated. It says instead of animated he has given that vivid word. So again, third is also technically wrong. So let's read the statement number 2. We show reluctance to admit. Last line says that we show reluctance to admit that at times we might have actually imagined something that we are labeling as faint perception. He has given this in, I think, last few lines. So am I clear about this question? So answer to this question was fourth option. So it's very important whenever we come across these statement based question where we have been asked generally that which of the following statements are correct or incorrect. So it has to be this is actually structure or flow oriented questions. We just want to check whether you were able to recall the stuff, or whether you were able to understand the main ideas or the sub ideas presented in every paragraph of this RC. Am I clear? Shall I move ahead? Yes, guys. Okay, so let's move on to, I picked up one more question on the basis of this paragraph, and this question is question number 70th, central theme. Now we have been asked the central idea of this passage, main idea, central idea. The question can be asked in so many ways: central theme, primary theme, major theme, main idea, central idea, etc., etc. So what was your choice if you got this question wrong? So which choice you picked up initially? If it is right, then it's fine. Read again all the choices. Now you know the structure a little. I tried to explain it a little. So most of the students picked up answer option number as 1 because it is beautifully crafted choice. Yes, it says discovering, outlining, demonstrating the difference between our sense experience and our imagination. Second half is fine, differences, but here author did not try to discover or outline. He didn't outline anything or demonstrate anything. So these three words are very weak with respect to the passage. And fourth, I think, is fine. He wanted to make us understand that things are very different when it comes to sense-based experiences or imagination, and there is sometimes overlap also. But at the end of the day, we are not clear about imagination and senses. So fourth is the best. Why second is wrong? Highlighting how experiences and senses are not at all different. That different from our imagination, no doubt. Sometimes they overlap also. Technically, again, no, they are not. They are different, but at the same time, the line of difference is very thin. Third, it says probing and prodding the reader to think about the differences between sense, and third is also wrong. So I think the answer is fourth. 70th answer to this question is fourth. Am I clear, guys? So we left running short of time. We left only with, I think, 9 or 10 minutes. So let's move on to next question. Again, a psychology based passage a little, and primarily philosophy. Here we have, again, with the help of our logics and twists and turns, again the structure was framed, the passage was framed in such a way so as to confuse you as you proceed. So it says that gray. He has picked up the word gray. Gray means neither black nor white. Black he meant wrong, and white he meant white means the thing which is correct. So in between right and wrong, the middle path, he termed this word as gray. So gray means neither right nor wrong, but primarily gray also means wrong as per the passage. It says that before one can identify anything as gray, one has to know between exactly what we mean by black and white. Black means in the field of morality, black means wrong, evil. White means good. So first paragraph highlights this, that the difference between black and white and what exactly should be the definition of the word gray. In morality, the last line of the first paragraph, in morality, black is predominantly a result of attempting to pretend to oneself that one is merely gray. Sometimes when we are indulging ourselves into wrong things, wrong side of the story or the life, we pretend this to be as gray. Now he has given few justification whenever we call ourselves gray, and let's quickly rush through second paragraph. If a moral code such as altruism, where we think that everyone should be benefited, it says if a moral code impossible to practice, it is code must be condemned as black, nor it is victim evaluated as gray. Means gray should not be confused with anything wrong. Anything which is wrong should be highlighted as black, not the gray. Now why he says that? Why do we call anything wrong as gray? If a moral code prescribe irreconcilable contradiction, so that by choosing the good is man will become evil in another, it is code must be rejected as black. If you pick up this thing that in one situation it is considered as right as per you, but most of the time it is wrong, that should be rejected as black. Now why he says that people emphasize on this gray word? Look at the second paragraph somewhere near end. It says some people believe that the doctrine means philosophy of moral grayness is merely restatement of the bromides. Why do people say that? They say that gray means, why they give so much importance to this word gray? They say that nobody is perfect in this world. So everyone is a mixture of good and evil, therefore morally gray. Now majority of those one meets are likely to fit this description. Whenever you meet anybody, he will also call himself or herself gray. So majority of people, when they start calling themselves gray, we all start thinking that gray is accepted code and gray is normal, but this is not. Now look at the third paragraph. If man is grey by nature, no moral concept is applicable or concepts are applicable to him, including greyness. Because in morality, right means white, wrong means black. But if you talk about grey, then moral code is not at all applicable. Morality is out of picture now. So it cannot be termed as moral. Such thing as morality is, no such thing morality is possible. But it says that, this paragraph is very important, but if a man has a free will, then the fact tens millions men made wrong choices does not necessitate that 11th one make it. No one will make it the same. It says nothing, it proves nothing, it regards in regard to an individual. So that is how it says that if everybody is saying that we are not perfect and everything is grey in this world, it is not that you should also come up with the same explanation that is gray's accepted code. Means author, I mean to say that moral of the story is that author is not at all in favor of grayness in the life or in morality. He says that we all have got choices to find to select between right and wrong, but whenever we pick anything wrong or do anything wrong and keep on doing bent on doing evil things, we call these as grey. So last line is now author is giving justification. The basic error in all those various confusion is same. It consists of forgetting the morality deals only with issues open to men's choice. Means forgetting the difference between unable and unwilling. This permit people to translate catchphrase there is no blacks and white into. Men are unable to be wholly good or wholly evil. So which they accept in foggy resignation. Foggy resignation means you are not able to decide. You are pretending, you are giving lame excuses without questioning the metaphysical contradiction it entails. A little difficult to understand, but my point was to make you understand that how we confuse you. So it has to be very, very important. Every paragraph is important. Every line is important. So observe last few lines I'm reading. Observe form in which one encounters that philosophy. It is seldom presented as a positive, as an ethical theory or a subject of discussion. Predominantly one hears this as negative. A snap objection or reproach means criticism uttered in a manner implying that one is guilty of breaching an absolute self-evident as to require no discussion. So again, throughout the passage, author did not favor grayness. He's saying that things can be either right or wrong. There is no middle path. But if you go along the middle path, then moral code is not at all applicable because you have got the choices. You had choice, but you picked up the wrong thing. Am I clear about the basic structure of this paragraph? Just guys press yes because we are running short of time. Okay, let's try to attempt a few questions. 75th and 77th I picked up based on this specific. What is the fault of reasoning ascribed to moral grayness school of thought? Now it is a little critical reasoning based question. I'm not clear, and I don't know that whether you did this particular topic or you have covered this topic in your regular classes or you know about this. Do we know about fallacy, etc. of ad hominem, appeal to false authority, incorrect generalization, etc., etc.? Just press yes if you know, press no if you don't. Because it's a critical reasoning based question, I would recommend that, I would advise that if you are not aware of this particular topic, so please avoid these kind of questions. There's no point that you should guess about. So it is author is attacking the character of the people. Now attacking the character in critical reasoning, this fallacy is called fallacy of ad hominem, because personally he took into account the grayness, that is called fallacy of ad hominem. So answer to this question I think was first, it cannot be incorrect generalization. Why? Because he did not generalize anything. He just pointed out those people who say that, who believe that whatever they do, anything wrong, it can be termed as grey. So third wrong. Fourth says appeal to ignorance. We are not appealing anything. We are not ignorant of the facts. Author is very clear about what is right, what is wrong. Appeal to false authority. False authority. There is no case of this. I think this question was a little difficult, but it is advisable that if you are not aware of all these definitions, probably should not. 74th, Anurag is saying, asking why fourth is wrong. Okay, 74th question, fourth option. The probability theory that tries to forecast the future based on past experiences. Now, for example, we have been asked, third paragraph, statistical generalization refers to what? First of all, there is no point that we can take probability into account, because if we talk about the previous paragraph, so these kind of choices, they may seem to be right at the very first sight, but these are called out of track choices, because we don't have any solid proof or backup or evidence to claim that this is right. These choices are generally inserted just to confuse you. These are called out of track choices, because we are not here about to try to forecast future on the basis of past experience. There is no mention of this. Am I clear, Anurag? Seems to be correct independent of this passage, but not based on this passage. This is actually probability theory is all about. Whenever we talk about stock prices, stock market, we use this particular method, but not related to this passage. We knew this, and that's why we inserted this choice. Okay, 77th question. Mansi, 75th, to answer 75th question, do we know the meaning of fallacy of ad hominem, appeal to false authority? All these are fallacies in the chapter of critical reasoning. Have you done critical reasoning? Do you know anything about critical reasoning, Mansi? Okay, that's why Mansi, you found this to be difficult, but fallacy of ad hominem means the answer. I'm explaining the answer option only here. So it is called attacking the character of the person. If any person does something wrong, instead of attacking that person, we should condemn his actions. So rather than attacking a person, or attacking a person is called fallacy of ad hominem. The entire passage suffered from this because author attacked the people, criticized the people who were, as per the passage, they say that they lie somewhere, their actions lie somewhere between black and white, because everyone else is like this, therefore they are also like this. Am I clear? A little, Mansi? Yes? Mansi? Yes or no? No reply. Am I audible, Mansi? Okay. So 77, it can be inferred from the passage when people mistakenly assume something to be grey when actually it is a black. All along what they are trying to prove when they say that the thing was wrong, but they assume this to be grey. 77th question. What was your choice as a difficult question marked by the test takers? What was the answer to this question? If you are tempted, guys, press. As per the passage, it can be inferred from the passage that when people mistakenly assume something to be grey, when they wrongly assume that things to be grey, while actually it is actually black all along, what they mean? So they say that, let's say I'll pick up the second option, are not able to recognize they are being sold negative doctrine by the society. They themselves know that whatever they did or whatever they're doing is wrong, but point is they are not able, they will not accept this. So second is gone. They are not able to distinguish what is true, what is false. They know what is true, what is false, but in order to save themselves, they'll call that particular thing as grey, activity as grey. Third also, technically wrong. They are essentially converting their lack of will to make a choice into a situation where they have no choice. They had choices, but they picked up the wrong one. But in order to save themselves, they'll start calling, and they call this black as grey. So first is the best option. It can be inferred easily. They are not able to understand. The society always lets you select. It is up to you whether you want to follow the herd or not. This herd is, I think it is HERD. It's not HERD. Yes, Yajur, it is 1. Rest are technically wrong, factually wrong, therefore first, and it is fine that when they call themselves grey, that means they are not able to understand that when they were given choices to select. So why they people are, if I'm happy in following herd, so why I should be blamed? Because everyone else around me is also the same. Am I clear, guys? Let's Anurag, insert 20th D. Transmitted is a verb or a noun? I don't understand this 20 questions in this last question of the day. Transmitted has to be verb in 70D. Okay, question number 70D. Transmitted. Again, 70, option D you are saying? I don't see the word transmitted here. In 70th question, the central theme of the passage, creating a framework for discussing and analyzing the differences between sense experience and our imagination. 62nd question. D choice. Uncensored images and information have then been transmitted across other close borders by television newscasts. So what's the point in asking this question that transmit is a noun or a verb? Just type whatever. It is a verb, no doubt. It cannot be a noun. Could be participle, but ed form are not nouns. Because been is used whenever some action is there and it is still happening, then we use have been. And been is used whenever the sentence is written in passive voice. Do we see the preposition by here? By. Whenever by is used, then been is required. That's why we need been here, because the by is there. Because if I say John killed Sham, Sham has been killed by John. So whenever by is there, we need passive voice, or passive voice we need been. Am I clear, Anurag? Have I answered your question? Quickly. Okay. So the time has come to wind up this session. So 80th last question of the day. Your choice, guys. We already have lost the semi-final. Any regrets? Okay, question number 80th. The question was very simple. I don't know why people marked this question as moderately difficult. If I read all the sentences, in all the sentences you will find the word imprisoned. But in the odd one, in the C sentence, we are talking about killing of the people. In rest of the sentences, theme very easy to link, imprisoned. Either leaders or the people or the freedom fighters or the press reporters, journalists, etc. we are talking about. But in this particular sentence, it is talking about the killing of the people. That's why this was odd one out. So am I clear about this question? I just picked up just to tell you that how easy it was. Yes, guys. Pranav, Mangesh, Rahul, Nikhil, Mansi, the time has come to wind up the session because time is already up. I need to conclude this. So probably see you next time around when I come to take this session. So did you learn anything out of this session? Should we continue with these kind of sessions? Yes, guys, please press yes. Because my point is to tell you the strategy, the tricks, and how things can be turned into our favor. We should not get too much into the RCs or the essence of the things. Otherwise, look at the thing from broader perspective and try to maximize your score. So I picked up one last passage also just to discuss, but we are running short of time. The time is already up, probably next time. But again, whenever you look at the passage, make sure that you use scrap paper well and write the main points of every paragraph to the side of on your scrap paper. It would be easier for us to pick up the answer choices. Otherwise, it is very easy for us to confuse paper takers, test takers, just by presenting the logic in a very, very twisted way. No doubt we start well and we conclude the things also well, but somewhere in between we have got ample time to confuse your brains. So the time has come to wind up the session. All the best for the next mock. See you next time around. Bye. Bye guys. See you.